Hello everyone! Give me a second to get my camera back to working like always. The game volume is a bit high, so... There we go. Hello everyone, welcome! Today we are playing Drowning. It's a game about mental health and that's why I wanted to play it. I got the key actually from the game developers, so thank you to them. And yeah, let's just start this story-rich game. New game. I just started it up once. That's why I don't get the trophy right now. Just to make sure it is running. I still remember the day we met first. Okay. I was in year 8 and you had no friends. Yeah. But I was alone. You came and sat next to me. True, you never said anything. I hardly recognized you. I hardly recognized you were there. You were quiet, like me. Every time I was alone, you would come and visit. But you wouldn't say anything. Weeks went by. And you still wouldn't talk to me. I've had this game for like a year on PC. Oh, I got it just on PlayStation 5 today, 610. So I ignored you. Well, that's not very nice. And you left me alone. It wasn't long after you left until the holidays started. And my family decided to go overseas. It was my first time on a plane, so I was kind of nervous. The first time I went... Bro, I'm watching Gamescom in 10 minutes? Okay. But I eventually overcame my fear. The first time I went on a flight was literally like 10-15 years ago. I can't even remember. I think it was England for 2 hours flight. Well, we were overseas. We mainly did stuff with our family. I've never flew, mate. You never flew? Really? It was a lot of fun. I didn't think life could get any better. Well, and definitely not worse. Well, if you think life can't be any worse, then it's going to get worse. As much as I didn't want to, we had to leave. But all good things must come to an end, of course. Of course. We arrived home on the last day of the holidays. Going back to school life was good, yeah, but going back to school after so much fun holidays is often not really great. But then school started, yeah, exactly. And you were there. Well, at least he was there. But you were different. You seemed more confident. But no one likes you. Well, can relate at high school. I didn't understand why. You seemed fine to me. So we became friends. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty snazzy. One friend changes everything. Every day you open up a little bit more. And you started talking to me. We became close. One friend can literally change your mood so much. Later that week, I told another friend about you. He warned me that you were dangerous. But I didn't see how. So I ignored what he said. Maybe you ask why? After all, he barely knew you. But why do you ask why? The question why he would be dangerous, that's soon after we became friends. You started telling me strange things. You told me one of my good friends didn't want me as a friend anymore. Well, it made no sense. So I just ignored you, hoping you would leave me alone. Oosh, yeah. But you never did. Well, you kept going. That's the worst part. That some people think that their friendship to somebody is more important than other friendships to that same person, telling me the same thing over and over again. And you got louder. Well, I started to believe what you were saying. I didn't know what to do. Well, talk to that friend if they really don't. I decided the best thing to do was to let you keep going. Well, that's not a very healthy friendship, and pretended I didn't care. I have to say, sometimes it's more healthy to cut somebody loose if it drains your energy and makes you miserable. That person. It took a while. But you eventually became a voice at the back of my head. Yeah, and exactly this kind of stuff happens. But I couldn't forget what you said. It's sometimes just better to move on instead of keep going with some person that makes you miserable. It's like your voice was stuck on an endless loop. And I believed every word. You convinced me that my friend didn't need me. Well, that's a very hard thing, that your friends don't need you. Which I have said before myself, and was better off without me. Yeah, exactly. Those words are very normal. Not very normal. Are very common for people with depression. So I initially distanced myself from him. Yeah. Those two sentences is something that is really just a thing that people with depression go through every single time. Thinking that was my only option. Because how do you make someone like you? You don't. And you shouldn't try. That truly hates you. Whenever he would start a conversation, I would purposely seem uninterested. Well, this is already contradictory, because he starts a conversation with you. So that should be an like a nudge to your side that he likes you, otherwise he wouldn't talk to you. So he would talk to somebody else. Yeah, and so you distance yourself from friends and make it a reality. What his other friend, between brackets, talks about. Somebody he really wants to talk to. Well, he really wanted to talk to you because it came to you first. It looked like I was being rude. Well, and this is perception that is also very hard, because you think he doesn't like you, so you are being rude in their eyes, but you aren't being rude in your own eyes, and it's very hard to differentiate from those both. But I'm really doing him a favor. Exactly, that's what I just said. I saved him the embarrassment having to talk to me in front of others. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. And I saved him the effort of being nice and pretending to care. He was caring. Otherwise he wouldn't talk to you at all. Oh, year 9. I was happy for school to start, so I could see my friends. You didn't like seeing me like this, so you disappeared. Oh. I never really understood why you kept coming and going. But I was glad you were gone. Yeah. It wasn't until now that I realized I enjoyed life a lot more when you weren't around. So I became scared of you. Well, you shouldn't really... And I began to hate school. Well, because I didn't want to be friends with you anymore. But I tried my best not to worry too much. Well, if you try your best not, because I knew you loved seeing me like this. Well, that's not really nice. School was great at first. I got to hang out with friends I didn't see in a while. And I even spoke to one of the new students, who soon after became one of my closest friends. Yeah, exactly. That is very good, to start making new friends, as long as having your old friends as well. But then you came along, and then it's all went to crap, and you destroyed the fun I was having. Yeah, exactly. Somebody like that you need you could lose. You told me to stop speaking to people who don't like me. Well, he can't decide who likes you and who doesn't, because all I'm doing, I'm making more people hate me. Well, like I said, some random person doesn't decide who likes you or who doesn't. I thought the best thing to do was to ignore you. Well, true. So that's what I did. Not long after, I was walking down the school hallway. And he started to bully you, I guess. And I saw the new guy standing with a group of people. So they said hi. And he spread a rumor about him, I think. But he ignored me. Well, it's not very... Kind of was like embarrassed to know me. Even though we were good friends. Well, at least I thought we were. That night, when trying to fall asleep, the thought of the new guy kept crossing my mind. I just couldn't figure out what I did. It's not really a thing that you did, it's what they perceive and what they think is going to make them less popular, so... And it's all kinda just peer pressure and all. And all you were doing was telling me how you were right all along. And how I should have listened to you. I didn't even understand why it was bothering me so much. Well, all I knew was I was losing sleep over something that probably doesn't even matter. Well, that's also something that people with anxiety do a lot. Worry about anything that comes across. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, you can't really do anything about it. Waking up in the middle of the night became normal. Yeah, I feel that. And my friends noticed I was looking more tired than I usually did. So they asked if everything was okay. Well, at least that he had friends that were actually asking him if he was okay, and that's... But you said to remember what you told me. And be careful what I say to them. So I told them I was... No, if they are really your friends, they are going to be there for you, even though you're not fine. Even though I was far from it, yeah. Telling no one about you was hard. I really wanted to. But you wouldn't let me. So this person he is talking about literally is consuming his whole life. You have been reminding me how I've already made other people hate me. I didn't know what to do. You wouldn't leave me alone. You knew I was scared of you. And it made you happy. Just a little wonky. Oh. It was only a matter of time before you would leave me alone. Well, people like that don't really leave you alone if they literally consume your life. So I tried to learn how to control my emotions. Well, that's not always a good thing. To a certain extent, of course, controlling your emotions is good. But sometimes you just need to let some stuff go. I was getting quite good at it. Yeah, and you put up a mask, like people do. And it seemed to make you angry. That I could feel happiness. I thought I finally found a way to remove you from my life. Thank you for the drive-by host, Zumara. And I didn't need you to worry about you coming back. Moving? Or more healthy solution than moving. Then my parents told me they were getting a divorce. It's the root of many, many problems as children. Next year. Give me a second, guys. What are the trophies for this game? That's something secret endings. Find to complete all the game's endings. Transcend pool. Try to fall off the bridge 10 times in year 11. Okay, so try to climb the hill in the dark forest. Find the secret gift box. Find the secret snowman. Find the secret candle. So all secrets, not for the levels. Okay. Yep. After my parents separated, you kept telling me it was my fault. With no one telling me otherwise, it would hard not to listen to you. Yeah, and that's what almost every child feels when the parents are going through a divorce. You said not to tell anyone what happened. Okay, is the plot twist of this game that this other person he became friends with is just his unconsciousness? Because no one wants to hear or know anything about me or my miserable life. So I kept everything to myself. Because that would fit in the story though. Everything thought I desperately wanted to tell somebody. Even though I desperately thought I wanted to tell somebody. Well. When I tried to sleep, you would keep reminding me of all the things I could have done to stop this from happening. It feels more and more like his unconsciousness is talking to himself. Since I wouldn't let me sleep, I would distract myself by playing video games. Same, but they weren't as fun as they usually to be. Yeah. It felt more like a task or an assignment rather than a relaxation activity. Exactly that. That is very common. It took way more effort than it used to. Yeah. Enjoying stuff is harder. But I was the only way to feel like I wasn't that bad, just for a moment. Yeah, exactly, Bruce, because it transports you to another world. And it makes you feel at home there. It makes you feel important. Most of the time you are a hero in a story. Okay, guys. You can't fall off. But there was a trophy. I found myself getting irritated with everything. I would try to fall off, I think. So, maybe hit the wall. Yeah, there we go. Everybody annoyed me. It was impossible to calm down and relax. But I wasn't angry at everyone. But if I wasn't angry at everyone, I was sad. I felt empty in them. Yeah. Like a bottomless pit most of the time. Like a black hole sucking in everything that made me feel emotion. So I wanted to play this game to raise awareness for these types of things. But also because I've experienced it myself for 5 years already. I was wearing a heavy suit of armor. That's why I find it very important to say to the community, of my community, any other community, that it is very important to talk about these things. It shouldn't be a taboo like it used to be. Mental health. It's very important for everyone to be mentally healthy and have people they can rely upon. So it is very important to talk about this stuff, guys, and to make it to normalize talking about it, not to normalize depression and all that kind of stuff, but to normalize talking about it and to be there for everybody that needs it. And every movement took a tremendous amount of effort and was completely exhausting. No matter how hard I tried, I was unable to take it off. It was as loud as it was heavy, and I felt like I annoyed anyone who walked past me. It's like I needed to apologize to anyone who dealt with my presence. It was like everyone was annoyed at me and I was letting everyone down. My body felt like I was constantly coming down with the flu. I had headaches and feel nauseous. I was always in physical discomfort. Probably also hating the appearance of yourself, or how you look to yourself in a mirror, or not even wanting to look in the mirror. Whether I was at school, out with my family, or at friend's place, I never felt comfortable. I just wanted to stay in my room all day and stop pretending like everything was alright. And I hated socializing. I still do. Socializing isn't really great. I would avoid social situations like the plague. Yeah, and also, if you socialize, it takes tremendous amounts of energy. I never answer my phone or the doorbell, and I declined almost every party invitation. Because every person I avoided was somebody's day not ruined. Year 12. What was year 12 achievement? Let's just take a look for that. Try to climb the large rock at the beginning of year 12. Large rock. Okay, so we are going to climb this large rock, guys, before we continue with this. Oh, rock climber, that already counts? Okay. Let's continue then. Let's see, is there another... Oh, level 12 achievement, or year 12. Hill in the dark forest. Okay, hill in the dark forest. By the way, guys, for the people watching, this will be a very short stream, like 1.5 hours. I'm in the middle of a vast ocean, so it won't take. I won't be playing for very long today because I have other duties to do today, and I can't keep my head above water anymore. I'm nearly out of breath. No one is going to help me. Every time I swim to the surface and grasp for air, you get pulled down again, I would assume. I sink down to the very bottom. Oh, we are in the water, I think. Is this seaweed? Again, and again, and again. I have lost all hope. And I don't know what to do. And this is where friends... I would argue that friends are and family that you trust and enjoy the company of are the more important things. Of course, therapy also does help for some people, or most people. Friends were more of a key thing for me. Friends helped me more than therapy ever could. Where are you doing? What are you doing? I'm ending everything. Can't go up this hill. Why? Because there's nothing left for me to do in this world. Or just for me in this world. Give me a second. Nope. What about your friends and family? And the thing that you will probably say is they don't need me. What are people that love and respect? I'm doing them a favor, yeah, exactly. And this is exactly what everybody thinks, but never is real, guys. You're never doing some people that love you the favor if you end your life. And it is very hard to understand that, especially once you're in the situation. And let's just say, if somebody says it to you, it's not gonna matter. It's really not gonna matter if somebody says to you, but the people that love you need you. It's not gonna matter. You need to feel that. You need to feel that people need you. You're going to hurt them. You need to feel that people need you and understand you and are there for you. You're going to put them through a great amount of pain you never experienced. True. Is that what you want? But this is also not really a good argument to make against somebody that is dealing with these problems. Because then you are going to guilt trip them into living, which is, of course, effective, but also not right. Makes people especially more likely to get there. You don't want to guilt trip somebody that's already in pain. You're the reason I'm doing this in the first place. You showed up out of nowhere. You put thoughts in my head. And you tell me things that aren't true. And I can't take it anymore. So I'm doing this for me and no one else. Because I'm tired of being in a place I don't belong. Sissy who? Mountain goat. Okay. What the hell is this place? Just a lantern over there. No. You've got it all wrong. You didn't. You did this to me. You drove me to the point of insanity. You're a demon. That's where you're wrong. I am you. This whole time, I've been trying to help you. Help you to come to terms with yourself. I came to you because I saw you doubting yourself. And it seemed as though others were doubting you as well. And it hurt me. I didn't want to see you like that anymore. So I tried showing you all the different ways of viewing the world. And I tried to help you embrace your uniqueness. And show you that there is nothing wrong with being different from everyone else. But no matter how much I told you, you wouldn't listen. You let the thoughts of yourself and others get to you. And you confuse those thoughts with me. I didn't know what to do. I really wanted to tell someone. Because I didn't want anyone to think differently of me. And they all say the same thing anyway. They would say, I need to get help. They would say that because they care about you. And they don't know what great amount of pain you're dealing with. Okay, so if somebody says to, at least to me, for example, you need to get help, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't sound right in somebody that needs help in their mind. At least not in my mind. Instead of you need help, you say, okay, let's go get some help together. Like, that's at least, then you're not saying they need help, like they are crazy. But it also shows that they really care because we are in this together. Which is from my perspective a way better thing to say than you need help, like you're crazy or not in the right state of mind. This is all what I say, guys, is all from my perspective, how I perceived things, and how I still perceive things sometimes. You don't know what to do. I thought the best thing to do for me and everybody else was to end everything. And that's just a result in hurting the people that love you. I only wanted to know what it felt like to feel again. To be happy. To be loved. Then go back. Seek help. And learn how to love again. just like you used to. This is oftentimes most of one of the most hard things to do. If somebody says like you used to, if you have been dealing with mental illness for a very extensive period of time, you don't know what used to is. For you, used to is you don't feel anything. That's what you used to now. So it's very hard to make a to see how it was before. Okay. Is there something here? Pretty dark. I don't understand. I thought you wanted to go back. I thought you wanted to feel loved. I do. But what about the others? Why don't they get a second chance? What makes me special? Don't do this. They went down the same road as you. And now they are stuck here. The same will happen to you if you don't make the right choice. Can you actually go back? I don't think so. So I avoided the portal, so I think this is a secret ending instead of the main one. I'm sorry. But I can't just leave these people here. It was their decision. They chose to stay here forever. I've already made my choice. Fine. But you are going to regret this. Well, that was a secret ending, apparently. I didn't do that intentionally. I thought there was maybe like something I could find behind there for a trophy, but this was also a secret ending. Polygona Wolf, thank you for designing this great game. We are going to continue though, but thank you very much for giving this game, guys. I really resonate with what is being said, and it is not very eye-opening, but maybe for people that haven't experienced this, it is eye-opening. And I think there should be more games like this that just open up the stigma around mental health and suicidal thoughts. And it's very important. Oh, can we actually go back? Don't think we can. New game. Can we skip years? Oh, but we can go for a swim. Okay, so we can't really, so apparently I did the secret ending. And I didn't really want to do that. But in the meantime, we can talk some more about experience that I have had and what I've heard from other people. And just to let you guys know, this is a safe place. I talk about my problems that I've had for a very long time. And I don't judge anyone for what happened or what is going to happen or their state of mind. The only thing that I can say is every experience is different. And if I say I perceive something like this, that doesn't mean everybody should, or everybody did. So it's very important that we don't say depression is like this or mental health is like this, because it isn't. It is all different things, and for everybody it is different. So we shouldn't just say mental health is for crazy people, because maybe it's out of the ordinary for 90% of the whole population. But for every single person, mental health is differently. Like, maybe you have had a very bad experience, but you have grown over it, or you don't think about it anymore. But not everybody is like that. Some people have a harder time getting through stuff, and that's fine. And some people, it will take longer to get over stuff, and that's also fine. The only one important thing for any mental health problem is that you have people around you that love you and support you. And because of them, most people get through them eventually. I'm not saying everyone, and I'm not saying you should feel bad if you're still having problems even though you have loved ones. Because mental health is never a bad thing. It's not your fault. It's not like you want it. It's something you have, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that, because a lot of people have it, and we are all in this world together. So the only thing that I want to say that is very important is, please support each other, and don't underestimate what people feel, and don't just judge them for how they act, because you don't know their story. And for me as an autistic person, that can sometimes be very hard for people to judge me, that I am socially not always great, and sometimes even a bit mean, because I'm very sarcastic, and sometimes people feel that I'm mean, and I don't try to be mean. It's sometimes my jokes and some other stuff don't come over that well, because I just think differently in a social perspective. So we shouldn't judge each other just by the first interaction, or a couple of interactions. And of course, if people are going to be mean against you, especially friends or family, that are going to be mean, are going to be judgmental, sometimes it is the correct thing to just cut them off. But you don't have to do it in a very... You shouldn't do it in a very mean way or an aggressive way. You should just talk to them about it. Of course, some people really don't understand, and then of course the conversation ends. But sometimes, and most of the time, people will listen to you, and if they don't, that's fine. You should just move on. But there's always a chance that your friends are being toxic. You can talk to them about it, and most of the time that can resolve it. And sometimes you just have to say to them honestly what you feel and how things are going, and just cut them loose anyway. And that's very hard. For example, I had a group of friends which I played D&D with. I've told that story a couple of times before. Played D&D with a very nice group I got to know in the third year of high school, and high school here is 6 years if you do the education I did. And we had fun for two and a half years, and then my depression got worse, and I stepped out of the WhatsApp group, and didn't attend any social gatherings or anything for a couple of weeks. And I was their dungeon master, so I led the story that we were telling in the Dungeons & Dragons, and I just couldn't. And it was one of my worst months of my depression back in the day. And when I came back, they had replaced me as Dungeon Master, and that really hurt. I also didn't get invited anymore for parties. Well, I didn't go to parties anyway, but I went to the parties with my friends. The parties that they organized, and it was just for us. So I did attend those, and I didn't get invited to those anymore. And that was very harsh for me. And when I talked about it, they shrugged and didn't really say anything about it. So once they left high school, because I had to do a year over, or I split my year in two halves the last year, I just cut them loose. I don't interact with them anymore. There's two people that I still talk to out of the 8. But for the rest, I cut them loose because they were toxic, and I couldn't deal with that. Especially not in a time that I was dealing with a depression myself. And it became better. It literally became better for me. I went to university a year later. I made some friends, started a new D&D campaign, and had a fun time. And then Corona came and it shook everything up. But I don't blame people for that. That contact broke and we didn't play D&D anymore and all that kind of stuff. That just happens. Especially because we didn't know each other for such an extended period of time. That just happens. But the first friend group I had, that really hurt. But it was better for me to cut things loose and just look for new friends. Especially when going to university, you kind of meet everybody that is in the same ballpark as you. People that love the same things and all of that. So yeah, it was good to have friends for such a long time. But sometimes you have to cut people loose just to continue with your life, otherwise you will keep on fighting a battle that isn't worth fighting. Okay, I don't have any specific places to go. So yeah, the moral of the story is do what feels right to you. And hang around with the people that give you energy, that give you a feeling that you're wanted, feeling that you're loved. And the same goes for family. If family literally beats you down, time and time again, literally or mentally, you should cut them loose. You should choose for yourself what is the best for you. And move on. Try to move on, let's just say that. So that's what I did with my dad. I cut him loose. I changed my name, my surname. And trying to move on. I still am not moved on completely. It's very hard because it's family. But yeah, if there's somebody in your life that makes you miserable, and I know it's very hard but you need to try to move on. And that's what therapy is for. And like I said, therapy is not for everyone. I myself have been in therapy for 4 years. I just finished it literally today. And it just didn't help me as much as I would hope. There is one person in my life that helped me through everything, and it was my mom. And she did more than therapy could ever do. And I am very blessed with her. And I can't say that everybody has somebody in their life like that. But I hope people that don't have somebody like that find somebody like that can literally anchor them down to the ground. No, not literally, sorry, man. Figuratively anchor somebody down to the ground and keep them here. And my mom was my anchor, and she did everything that she could for me. And of course I still needed to work through everything on my own, but and it's very hard for me to say, but I owe her my life. And I still don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but all I know is I'm here, I'm with my loved ones, and that is what is important now. At least that's important to me. So yeah, I think we all need to have that somebody, that one person at least in our lives that anchors you down and feel like you're wanted and loved. And I'm not somebody that talks about this stuff in a serious way that often. Mainly because I find it awkward to talk about it. I mostly joke about it, about my mental health, not about somebody else's mental health, of course not. But I joke about my own mental health. It's easier. It's more accessible to talk about it in that way. I'm not ashamed of it, not anymore at least. If somebody asks me what happened or what is going on, I'm always honest. But I used to be very afraid that I would be judged for it. And that's one of the main things why it isn't just a normal conversation or normal topic to talk about. Because you are going to be judged for it still. Even though it's more normalized than it was in history, you're still going to be judged for it. And I wish it wasn't, but especially in high school, there are some mean people that have no understanding of the world, or about hardships, or about mental health, and they are just going to make fun of you. And I hope that changes in the future, but it isn't normalized. And that's one of the most important things. And yes, people are going to call you snowflake and all of that kind of stuff. At least nowadays, that's a term for people that would have more problems than other people. I don't really understand why that term is something. And hopefully that changes, because it's still very toxic to say, just grow up, or just have fun, or just relax. All that kind of stuff. You don't choose to be relaxed. You are or you aren't. You don't choose to be happy. You just are or you aren't. Or you are a bit happy. Or you don't feel anything. But you don't choose to be depressed. You don't choose to have mental health issues. So you don't choose to be happy or not. You don't choose for it. You don't choose it, sorry. And hopefully that normalizes in the future. I hope it changes. Because it isn't good how we treat people with mental health issues. It isn't. And it's still, even though it is somebody that is miscommunicated or misinterpreted, I should say, about in this game, it still feels more like his unconsciousness that is warning him and making him miserable. At least it feels so familiar, because that's what happened to me. Not that people around me hated me. I thought they hated me because my brain made me think that. Because of earlier experiences. You are just going to see patterns and you think that they are exactly the same. But it isn't. No social group is the same. Not a single person is the same. So just assuming that people don't like you because people in the past didn't like you doesn't make any sense. But it does when you are in the situation. Like, I now think about some stuff that I thought about other people, or that I thought other people would think about me as trivial, and why did I think about it? But at the moment I was really convinced people hated me. And that really can't change in a year. Yes, for some people it changes in a year, but for other people it's a very long process. For me it took 4 or 5 years to accept that people... I can't calculate what people think about me. I can't, like, predict everything, especially not human emotions. And that was very hard for me to understand, because I'm a person that is more book studied. So like, I study things out of books, and that isn't exactly how it works in real life. And my autism also doesn't help with that. And so yeah, it was very hard for me to realize that not everything that was in my head was actually true. So yeah. And there is still something that is in the back of my mind, that I sometimes just think, oh yeah, they hate me because I made a little mistake. They hate me right away. That's something that still happens to me, and then after the fact, I am like, no, you just made a mistake. Why would they be mad at you about it? Why would they hate you for that? But at the moment, you don't really think rashly. You do think rashly. You don't really think with common sense. And that's exactly what you see in this game. You interpret things very differently when you have depression. Like, if somebody says, oh, you forgot to bring your pencil. You really think, oh, I'm so stupid. No, you're not stupid, you just forgot something. Like, things like that, you blow it out of proportion. At least I did. I do. So disclaimer, like I said before, what I say is more my perception of what I felt or still feel with my depression. And not necessarily for everybody. like I already said, everybody's situation is differently, and nobody perceives anything in the same way. So, it is just my perception and my experience that says that I blew things out of proportion. Any single way. If I got like a 5.5 in the first year of high school, it wasn't enough. I felt stupid, even though it was a passing grade. I felt literally completely stupid. I felt like I wasn't able to do anything. It felt like I was not enough. And even though I had an 8, I wasn't enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't... Even if I had friends, I wasn't funny enough. I wasn't happy, and it was never enough. And at least that's my experience. You'd never fulfill anybody's expectation that you think they have. And that is the hard part to... What the hell is this? Oh, candy. Cool. I just saw something glistering. But yeah, it's very hard to break out of that circle, because you think they expect you to be more, and because of that you feel bad, because you're not enough, and because you are going to worry about not being enough. You can actually perform less good. It's a visual circle. It's an unending circle that just keeps bringing you down. And the only thing that helped me snap out of it were my friends and family. And also this was the only thing that therapy helped me with, to let things go. Like if most of the experience I had were very related to school, because I didn't have anything other than school in my life for a very long time. And so if I had a bad grade, I felt very bad. If I had a passing grade, I felt like I wasn't enough. If I had a good grade, I could have done better. And it's just very hard to get that out of your mind, that you are enough. Maybe you don't get the highest grade. Maybe you are not going to be a lawyer. You aren't going to be in the top of the field that you're practicing. But you are enough. All you have to do is your best. You don't need to do anything more. Do stuff that makes you happy. Get a job that you enjoy instead of that pays well, or that your family wants you to do. You should do stuff for you as well, not just for anybody else. And yeah, so after my university, I want to become a teacher, because I want to help people like one of my favorite teachers did for me. I had a very nice teacher that actually helped me so much. She was my Dutch teacher, so my native language teacher. And she was always there for me. Literally, anytime I would have a problem and she could help me with that, the first thing she would do was get me that help. For example, I didn't feel that well a week, and I had a date, well, not a date, a deadline at the end of the week. She would just say, I'm going to get you an extension on that. You need to make time for yourself. And that is actually one of the most helpful things ever, and I want to do that for other people as well. For other people that are in the same shoes or similar shoes that I have been in. And help them realize their dreams, even if it takes a little bit longer. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things people can do for you. is to help you realize the dreams that you have. And yeah, she really made a mark on me. And I'm sorry, but I'm getting a little bit emotional here, but she really helped me quite a lot. And I want to do that for other people. And yeah, that's what inspired me to want to become a teacher. I'm not yet a teacher. So yeah, and when you look at the salary for teachers for a 40-hour week that's normal in the Netherlands, you don't get paid a lot. Actually, it's very bad when compared to the studies, when compared to other jobs in the same field or any other field with 2 bachelors and a master. You can easily get double the salary. But I still need to get to the point that I accept that this is what I want to do, and it doesn't matter how much it pays. If I can live from it, I can live from it. And I shouldn't care to make money. I should be happy. Why is this tree here? Just looks like a Christmas tree, and I needed to find a Christmas tree as well. So that is something that is very hard for people to come to terms with. And I'm getting to that point. For me, things take a lot longer to realize or to accept. And I'm not very ashamed of that at all. And I just want to help people. And why should I get paid for that more than I should need for living? And I need to accept that. And I think if that weight is off your shoulder, that the drive to get money, to be that you need to actually be happy is the amount of money that you make. That doesn't change. That if you don't love your job, it isn't going to make you happy, even though it pays a lot. And it's still something that I need to get to, like in my mind. And yeah, you should really do something that makes you happy, and if that is helping other people, I think that's the most beautiful thing there is. If you love helping people, what is better to do than do that? And yes, you can be a lawyer, yes, you can be a surgeon, but if that doesn't make you happy, why would you do it? But yeah, I had one of the best teachers, I would say, and that's why it inspired me to become a teacher myself. I'm not going to teach Dutch, even though she taught Dutch, because I'm just horrible at Dutch grammar and all of that. So I'm going to be a teacher in other subjects. I want to become an English teacher or a literature teacher, but I want to become a teacher just to help people get to terms with who they are and get to the point that they feel happy about themselves and happy with their decisions as a young adult. And I think especially mental health for people that are young adults is most common that young adult people or children or whatever you want to call them is prevalent. I think it happens way more often that people find themselves with mental trouble in their teenage years because they don't know how to define themselves yet. They still need to find themselves, especially nowadays. Well, it gets more accepted locally. I'm very happy about that. That you don't have to be a boy if you don't feel like a boy. You don't have to be a girl if you don't feel like a girl. And that does bring a lot of mental stress. If you are, of course, very affected by how people feel about you and how people see you. So, I really want to help people that are in trouble with their mental state, but also with their decisions for school, and also, of course, teach them stuff. And help them see the joy in the things that I enjoy, like literature, and the English language, and communicating with other people, which I'm not very good at. But if I have friends, and when I talk to my friends, that is just beautiful. Oh, I finished the game. So, like I already said before, make mental health discussable. Talk to people about it. If you are having problems, try to find something that helps. If it's friends, it's friends. If it's family, it's family. If it's therapy, please go to therapy. Therapy is very important. I never say therapy isn't important. It's just more effective for some people than others. And I want to thank, of course, the developer of this game for opening up to us. And, of course, making this game and sending me a key for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. It was a little stream, but we are here. And we talked about the problems that are surrounding mental health. And I hope all of you have a wonderful day and feel a bit better. See you guys.